There is a whisper within you that existed before your name. Before the world taught you how to fear, how to shrink, how to ache, under the weight of comparison, there was a presence still, silent, and infinitely sure of itself. It did not question its worth. It did not ask for permission. It simply was. And that presence, that soul, is still you, untouched by the noise, untouched by the illusion of insufficiency. Doubt. Doubt. That ancient shadow. It comes cloaked in logic and fear, disguised as caution and dressed in reason. It sits beside you, not with malice, but with misunderstanding. Doubt is not your enemy. It is merely the signal that you have begun to wander away from who you truly are. It is the alarm that rings when you lean too far into the identity the world gave you and too far from the one your soul remembers. You see, doubt is not a truth. It never was. Doubt is a cloud, and you, dear soul, are the sky. A sky has no quarrel with clouds. It does not rage against them. It allows them to pass, knowing they are transient, while it remains infinite, unharmed whole. The same is true for you. You were not born with doubt. A newborn doesn't question whether its cry deserves to be heard, whether its needs are valid, whether it has the right to take up space. That kind of questioning is learned. That kind of questioning is handed down through systems, through wounded voices, through fearful eyes, but it is not native to your spirit. So what is doubt then? But a bell, a sacred bell reminding you to return home to truth, to remember. You are not your fear. You are not your mistakes. You are not your temporary thoughts. You are not your credentials. You are not your failures. You are not the voice in your head that trembles in the face of greatness. You are not that hesitation. You are the one observing it. And the observer is always free. The ego will try to convince you that doubt is your compass, that safety is found in questioning yourself, that humility means shrinking to fit into molds that comfort others. But this is not humility. That is fear masquerading as wisdom. True humility is not hiding your light. It is knowing your light is not your own. It belongs to something greater that chose to shine through you. You were chosen to be here, not by accident, not randomly. The infinite does not roll dice. The divine intelligence that beats your heart, that breathes through the trees, that sends waves to kiss the shore in perfect rhythm, placed you here on purpose. In this body, in this time, with these dreams. And doubt, though it may rise like a wave, has no power to unwrite that truth. Listen to me now, not with your ears, but with your essence. When doubt shows up, do not run. Do not shrink. Do not believe its voice without question. Instead, pause and go deeper. Ask it gently, what are you trying to protect me from? You'll find that beneath doubt is usually an old wound, the fear of rejection, of not being enough, of being seen and judged. But your spirit is not woundable. Only the ego bleeds in the battle of perception. The soul cannot be harmed. Doubt is a signal that the ego has taken the driver's seat. And in that moment, it is not truth that you are hearing, it is programming. It is the echo of someone else's fear, someone else's limitation, dressed up in your own voice. But don't condemn it. Don't fight it. Sit with it like a teacher, because all of life is teaching you how to return to love. Even your doubt is a doorway if you're willing to walk through it. You see, we've confused certainty with arrogance, and in doing so, we've handed our power to hesitation. But what if certainty isn't arrogance at all? What if it's reverence? What if being certain in your worth is not pride, but obedience to the truth that God placed inside you? What if refusing to shrink is not selfishness, but surrender? Surrender to the brilliance that wants to live through you? Every time you doubt yourself, you are not dishonoring your mind. You are dishonoring your source, because you were not created to tiptoe through life apologizing for your existence. You were sculpted in the image of something eternal, something that does not hesitate, something that does not tremble, something that does not forget itself. And yet, Here you are doubting your calling, your art, your message, your beauty, your timing. But I'll tell you something, and you must let it pierce the noise. You do not need to be perfect to be purposeful. You do not need to be fearless to be faithful. You do not need to know everything to begin. Doubt says, wait until you're ready. But the soul says, you are already becoming. When a seed is buried in the darkness, it does not doubt the sun. It does not question whether it will reach the sky. It leans, it stretches, it opens, because it knows that growing pains are not proof of failure, but signs of life. So when your doubt feels heavy, remember this: growth often feels like uncertainty. But uncertainty is not absence of truth. It is the space where truth is waiting to be remembered. So begin. Begin even if your hands shake. Begin even if your voice trembles. Begin even if your knees are weak. Because motion clarifies. The soul doesn't need all the answers. It just needs your willingness to move. And what of failure? What of rejection? What if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does? What if the life you are imagining is not a fantasy, but a memory, a soul memory of what you were always meant to become? What if your longing is not a weakness, but a compass? What if your ache is not a sign of emptiness, but of calling? You've been told to be realistic, but realism is just a prison built by those who've forgotten how to dream. And you, my dear, are a dreamer. Not the shallow dreamer of escape, but the deep dreamer of awakening. The one who sees with the eyes of the soul and knows that this world is but a mirror of what is believed to be possible. So change the mirror, change the thought. Doubt is a reflection, not a decree. And you are the one holding the glass. Keep walking. The road to awakening is not paved with certainty, it is carved with trust. It is walked by those who feel the doubt and go anyway. By those who know that a feeling is not a command, that fear is not prophecy, that hesitation is not the same as halting your destiny. Every great soul felt doubt. Every enlightened being questioned the path, but they did not stop, and neither should you. Because there's someone watching you, someone who sees you as proof that it's possible, someone who is waiting to believe in themselves because you believed in you. And when you move through your doubt, you don't just free yourself, you free generations. You free hearts that you'll never even meet. And isn't that reason enough? So the next time doubt rises, smile gently at it. Say, thank you for the signal, but I remember the truth now. And keep going, because you are not here to live from fear. You are here to live from freedom. And doubt is just the smoke. You, my dear, are the fire. You, who stand at the edge of something new, something vast, something terrifying in its potential, do not mistake your racing heart for a stop sign. Do not confuse the flutter in your chest with the voice of truth. That flutter is simply your body remembering how much power lives in you. And power, when it is not claimed, will always feel like fear. But it's not fear you're feeling, it's awakening. It's expansion. It's the sacred stretch of your soul reaching beyond the boundaries your mind constructed to feel safe. Doubt is the tension between the self you have known and the self you are being invited to become. And every time you feel it rise, know that it is not asking you to retreat, it is asking you to rise. You were never meant to stay the same. Nature doesn't apologize for its blooming. The moon does not mourn its changing face. The ocean does not doubt its tide. So why do you doubt your becoming? Why do you hesitate when the winds of change are moving you? Why do you resist the very unfolding that life designed for your liberation? Because you were taught to worship certainty. You were taught to find comfort in sameness. You were taught that safety lives in the familiar. But here's what your soul knows. Safety is not found in predictability, it is found in presence. The more rooted you become in the now, the less you will need the illusion of control. Doubt feeds on the past and the future. It cannot survive in the sanctuary of this moment. It needs a mind racing with what ifs. but the soul breathes, I am. Breathe that in. I am, not I will be when, not I was before, but I am. That is the name of the divine. That is the mantra of the awakened. That is the power that moves through you even as you tremble. You see, your worth is not up for negotiation. It is not based on performance. It is not dependent on the opinions of others. It is not measured by likes or praise or outcome. Your worth is fixed, unshakable, eternal. Like the sun that keeps shining, even when clouds try to hide it, your value remains. No matter what voices rise against Deepen, your own. And the voices will rise. They will whisper, who are you to speak? Who are you to lead? Who are you to shine, to sing, to build, to believe? But you must learn to answer them not with force, not with aggression, but with truth. You answer with a quiet, unwavering knowing, I am a child of the infinite. I am a vessel of divine intelligence. I am here not to be small, but to be real, to be whole, to be light. Even the Buddha felt doubt under the Bodhi tree. Even Christ felt the weight of uncertainty in the garden. Even the saints and sages cried out in the darkness of their becoming, but they did not stop. They did not let doubt dictate their destiny, and neither must you. There will be days when the path ahead seems blurry. There will be moments when your old self begs you to turn back. But I promise you this, clarity lives on the other side of commitment. When you commit to the truth of who you are, when you commit to walking even when it's dark, the light will find you. You are being sculpted by the hands of the universe. And every moment of doubt is not a flaw, it is part of the chiseling, the cracking, the awakening, the refinement of who you were never meant to be, falling away so that who you truly are can emerge. Let it fall. Let the old ideas of who you had to be dissolve. Let the roles you wore to please the world slip off your shoulders. Let the mask of not enough melt in the fire of your truth. You are more than the doubt you carry. You are the awareness behind it. You are not the storm, you are the sky that holds it. You are not the ache, you are the breath that moves through it. You are not the noise, you are the silence underneath. And in that silence is peace. In that silence is the memory of who you were before the world taught you how to be afraid. Return to it. Return to yourself. Not the self shaped by survival, but the self born in stillness. Your soul did not come here to blend in. It came to break open, to burn away illusions, to dissolve falsehoods, to rise with every fall, to become a living testament that the truth is not something you find, it is something you remember. So when doubt comes again, and it will, don't run from it, don't fight it, don't treat it as an enemy. Welcome it like a wise friend who reminds you to choose to believe in something deeper, choose to trust the unfolding, choose to stand in the truth that even your doubt is part of the dance. It does not cancel your divinity, it does not undo your destiny. It only invites you to lean closer to your knowing. And your knowing, it's still there, waiting like a quiet flame beneath the surface, like a lighthouse in the fog, like a mother's voice calling you home. You don't have to wait until you're fearless to move forward. You only have to remember that fear is not the same as truth. Doubt is not a verdict, it is an invitation to pause, to breathe, to realign with the source that never doubted you. Not once, not ever. Would the divine create a soul unworthy of its own light? Would the infinite place you here without equipping you for the path? Would the same power that orbits the stars, paints the skies, and grows the forests ever leave you without purpose? No, you are here because you are needed. You are alive because something greater still wants to express through you. And though the mind may doubt, the spirit never does. It knows. It always knows. And so must you. Do not be surprised when doubt arrives dressed as logic. It wears the mask of reason, the language of caution, and the tone of someone trying to protect you. But be wise enough to recognize that not all protectors are aligned with your expansion. Some parts of you want safety more than freedom. Some thoughts would rather you stay in the cage, because the air outside, though fresh, is unfamiliar. But you must decide, will you live a life of comfort in limitation or courage in liberation? Every time you hesitate to speak your truth, to follow your vision, to take the next step, ask yourself, who is doubting? What voice is this? Is it the voice of the timeless, boundless self within me? Or is it the echo of past wounds, unhealed memories, and inherited fears? Trace it back, follow the thread. Doubt is never rooted in the know-it, is a ripple from what was or what might be. It cannot live in the breath you are taking right now, in this very moment, where nothing is missing. You've given doubt too much authority. You've let it sit at the table of your decisions. You've treated it like a wise elder when it is only a child afraid of the dark. But you are no longer that child. You are the light now. You are the calm presence that holds the fear without collapsing into it. You are the parent to your own mind. You are the keeper of your own soul. You must lead yourself home. When the world says, play small, your spirit says, rise up. When society screams, fit in, your essence whispers, stand out. When doubt pleads, wait until you're certain, the voice of truth, deep and ancient, smiles and says, begin now. Doubt thrives in delay. It feeds on pause. It grows in the gaps between your calling and your action. But action is the antidote. Move, even if your steps are unsure. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Show up. Not because you are unafraid, but because you are unwilling to be ruled by fear any longer. This is the path of the awakened. This is the way of the soul-led life. It is not absence of doubt, it is mastery over it. It is hearing the noise and choosing the silence. It is feeling the quake in your chest and walking forward anyway. It is allowing fear to ride in the car, but never ever letting it touch the wheel. Because your destiny is not built on the absence of resistance. It is forged in the fire of movement despite resistance. Every act of courage weakens the grip of doubt. Every time you honor your inner voice over the voices outside, you rewire your nervous system to trust the divine blueprint etched into your being. There is a compass in your chest. It doesn't point north, it points inward. It points toward alignment, resonance, truth. And when you follow it, even when it defies reason, even when others don't understand, you feel it, you feel alive. That feeling is your soul clapping. That feeling is God saying, yes, that's it. Keep going. You see, doubt is not a wall, it's a door. But it will not swing open unless you knock with your faith. You must lean into what scares you, not to prove something, but to remember something, that the light within you cannot be extinguished by uncertainty, that you were born with a fire the world cannot define, that there is something in you greater than every fear combined. The sages were not fearless, they were just practiced in silence. They heard the same noise, but they returned to stillness quicker. They didn't argue with their thoughts, they watched them drift by like clouds in a sky that cannot be stained. And you too can be that sky. You too can be that vast, that free, that anchored in the knowing that your thoughts are weather, not the landscape. Let it pass. Let it move. Let the doubts come and go, but do not give them names. Do not build temples to your hesitation. Do not make an identity out of your indecision. You are not your stuckness. You are not your spiral. You are not the delay. You are the witness. And the witness is always whole. Come back to wholeness. Come back to breath. Come back to this moment where nothing is broken, nothing is missing, nothing is wrong. Because right here in the stillness between heartbeats, you are safe, you are seen, you are chosen. You are enough not in some future version of yourself, not after you achieve or fix or earn something, but now, always now. And from that place of enoughness, You can act. You can give. You can speak. You can love. You can rise. Not to prove anything, but to be who you already are. To express what the infinite is placed within you. To echo the song of your soul into a world starved of truth. You do not need to understand the entire path to take the next step. You do not need to silence every doubt to speak your message. You do not need to be fearless to be faithful. You just need to say yes, though, the now, to the call, to the truth that lives in your bones. And when doubt comes, as it will, greet it with grace. Greet it with gratitude. Say, thank you for reminding me where I still hesitate to trust. Thank you for showing me where I still think I am separate from source. Thank you for being the signal that points me back to my center. Because that's all it is, a signal. A signal that the ego is speaking louder than the soul. A signal that you are on the brink of something sacred. A signal that you are standing at the doorway of your next becoming. But the truth is not in the noise. The truth is in the stillness. The truth is in your breath. The truth is in your knowing. That cannot be touched by thought. And that truth, it will always wait for you. Patient, loving, undisturbed, like the sun waiting behind every storm, like love waiting beneath every fear, like God waiting behind every doubt. The voice of doubt is loud because it's trying to be believed. It shouts because it knows it is fragile. It trembles behind its volume. But the voice of truth does not shout. It whispers because it doesn't need to convince you. It only needs to remind you. And when you are quiet enough, still enough, surrendered enough, you hear it. In the pause between worries, in the breath between thoughts, in the silence beneath your striving, you hear the sacred reminder, I am. I am the breath. I am the awareness. I am the presence that is never afraid, never rushed, never doubting. I am that which watches the storm, but is not swept by it. You were never asked to be perfect, only present. You were never required to know everything, only to trust. You were never told to avoid the unknown, only to walk with it, hand in hand with faith. And this is where your true power lives, not in mastering every detail, not in controlling every outcome, but in remembering who walks with you, who breathes through you, who lives inside you. The divine is not outside, it is not elsewhere, it is not later, it is now. And now is where the miracle begins. Doubt is a veil, thin and trembling. When you stop feeding it with your energy, it falls. What remains is clarity. Not the clarity of perfect plans, but the clarity of presence. The clarity that says, I may not know where this path leads, but I know who I am as I walk it. You were created from certainty, not fear. You were formed in wholeness, not lack. The fabric of your being is stitched together with purpose. Your soul is older than your fear, so live like it. Speak with the weight of ancient knowing. Walk with the peace of those who remember eternity. Act not because you are certain, but because you are called. Because this world doesn't need more people hiding behind logic. It needs people daring to live from love. People bold enough to stand in their truth, even with shaking knees. People honest enough to say, yes, I doubt, but I will not let it define me. The world needs your light, not when it's perfect, but now. Not when it's certain, but now. Not when everyone approves, but now. Because your soul didn't come here to play a role. It came to shatter illusion. It came to heal the lineage. It came to anchor heaven into earth. You think your life is small? There is no such thing. Every moment of courage, every act of truth, every breath taken in alignment ripples into the collective field. What you overcome in silence is felt in the unseen. What you heal in private transforms humanity. You are not alone in this journey, not ever. You walk with ancestors who pray through your voice. You rise with future generations carried on your shoulders. You awaken not just for yourself, but for the world. So when doubt says, stay small, Remember that your expansion is an act of service. When doubt says, don't speak, remember that your voice is medicine. When doubt says, you're not ready, remember that readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to trust. You decide to act. You decide to believe that the divine would not place a dream in your heart without also placing the power to realize it in your hands. Yes, there will be moments when you falter, moments when your knees buckle under the pressure, moments when it all feels too big. But in those moments, return to breath, return to being, return to the eternal truth. You are not doing this alone. You are being carried. You are being breathed. You are being guided by something that never doubts your worth, your place, your timing. So align with that. Speak from that. Live from that. And let the doubt dissolve in the radiance of your faith. Let it pass like morning fog under the noonday sun. Let it go like a wave that has served its purpose and rise again and again as the soul who remembers. Because memory is the path, not memory of the mind, but of the spirit. The memory that says, I am more than this fear. I am more than this moment. I am the light behind the cloud. I am the stillness beneath the roar. I am the breath of God in motion. And when you remember that, when you truly remember, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you know how to rise. Not because the path is easy, but because you no longer need it to be. Not because you never doubt, but because you know doubt is only a signal, not a truth. You were not sent here to convince the world of your worth. You were sent to embody it, to walk through life with the quiet knowing that you are a thread in the infinite tapestry of existence. You belong, not because you earned it, but because you are. And that is enough. Doubt tries to steal that knowing. It tries to bargain with your worth, to attach it to outcomes and applause and proof. But worth that must be proven is not true. Worth it is performance. And your soul came to be, not perform. Your being is the blessing. Your presence is the gift. And when you return to that truth, your doubt loses its grip. Because what is there to doubt when you are already complete? You are not incomplete. You are in progress. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are exactly on time. And even your detours are part of the design. Even your confusion is sacred. Even your delay is divine. Nothing is wasted when you walk with awareness. Everything belongs when you walk with love. This is not about perfection. This is not about doing it right. This is about being real, about being whole, about saying yes to your spirit, even when your mind protests, about standing up again and again, even if the world has not yet clapped, because the applause that matters comes from within. It comes from alignment. It comes from peace. It comes from that still voice inside that whispers, yes, this is the way. Your life is not an accident. Your dreams are not delusion. Your voice is not irrelevant. And your doubts are not destiny. They are only signal echoes passing storms. Do not anchor yourself in them. Anchor yourself in love, in truth, in the deep ocean of spirit that never changes, no matter how loud the winds howl. Have you forgotten how powerful you are? Look at how many doubts you've already survived. Look at how many fears you've already walked through. Look at the moments when you were certain it was over, and yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still becoming. That is not weakness. That is power. That is resilience. That is the presence of something eternal within you. And if it's been with you this far, do you not trust it to carry you further? The oak tree does not ask for proof of its roots before it grows. The river does not doubt its right to flow. The dawn does not hesitate to break through darkness. And you, child of the infinite why, would you doubt your light? Why would you wait for the world's permission to shine? Why would you hold back the medicine in your voice, the truth in your step, the power in your presence? The world is aching for the very thing you are withholding. Your clarity, your courage, your conviction, and you don't need to wait until you feel ready to give it. Readiness is not a prerequisite for transformation. Willingness is. You are not here to rehearse life. You are here to live it, to leap before you feel fully prepared, to speak even when your voice is rough, to write the book while your hands still shake, to love before the fear is gone, to believe before you see the result, because belief is not the product of evidence, it is the soil that grows it. And you were born to believe, not in fantasy, but in the deeper reality that your mind has forgotten and your soul has never lost. You are the breath of God made flesh. You are the pause between stars. You are the living proof that the infinite wants to experience life in human form. And when you move in alignment with that, doubt may knock, but it cannot enter. Fear may speak, but it cannot command. The noise may rise, but it cannot drown your knowing, because truth lives deeper, and your life, when lived from that depth, becomes a lighthouse for others lost in their own storms. You may never know how many are saved by your light. You may never see the waves you calm with your presence. But you must trust that the light you carry has purpose far beyond your eyes. So do not let doubt silence it. Do not let fear smother it. Do not let delay distract it. Fan the flame. Speak the word. Walk the path. Even if no one claps. Even if no one sees. Even if your hands shake and your knees tremble. Because your soul sees. Because your soul knows. And in the end, that is the only knowing that matters. That is the only truth that will remain when the noise has passed. That you were here, that you lived, that you remembered, that you became what you already were, that you let the signal of doubt guide you back to the fire of truth, that you honored the divine not by avoiding fear, but by walking through it with your eyes wide open, your heart even wider, and your spirit untouched. And when the day comes that your journey is complete, you will look back and smile, not because you had no doubt, but because you never let it decide who you would be. You chose love. You chose truth. You chose the breath beneath the fear. And that, my beloved soul, is the only victory that matters. That you remembered. Doubt is only a signal, never a truth.